there folks, welcome back to Rule of Thumb. I know it's been a very long break, but I needed a little time. We had, some holidays with the family, and I was actually ill for quite a long stretch. It was a hard cold to beat. But yeah, I just needed some time off and a little rest, and hopefully I'm going to get back into it and start putting out some more videos for you folks. Today's video was inspired by my friend Heather over at the Kneady Homesteader. She is doing a bread baking month for the month of February. And one of the recipes she did is this very basic bread recipe that you can use to make baguettes. Well, coincidentally, my friend Rick also gave me a baguette pan. So I thought, well, now I have the recipe and the pan, so I'm going to give it a shot. So today I'm going to share with you this really simple recipe. I am not by any means a experienced bread maker, but that's what's appealing about this recipe is it looks very simple. So hopefully I'll be able to show you a quick and easy recipe that anybody can do, and we'll see what the results are. I will also link my friend Heather's video up above, which will be much more in-depth and much more instructional than mine will be. So definitely go check that out. So I'm going to get everything together, turn you around, show you what we're working with, and I'll bring you back then. Okay folks, we're back. So I'm just going to run through these ingredients real quick with you. So what I have in here is a tablespoon of instant yeast and a tablespoon of sugar. I've got 4 cups of flour in this bowl. This is all-purpose flour, just regular plain all-purpose flour. And I have 1 cup here. We're going to start with the 4 cups. And then we'll add this as needed. I've got 2 cups of warm water. This is between 105 and 115 degrees. And then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So I got my tablespoon measurer here and my olive oil right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these ingredients in. First we're going to do the yeast and the sugar. And then we're going to do the warm water. And then we're going to do the flour, and then we're going to do the olive oil, and the last thing we're going to add is the salt. Salt and yeast together can slow down the activity, and sometimes your bread will not rise. So it's always best to try and keep them separate initially. So that's why you add it in that order. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the bowl of I have my stand mixer here. And then I will position you guys so you can see what it looks like from there. Okay folks, so I have everything in my bowl. I just want to run through these ingredients again. That's 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, just regular sugar, 2 cups of warm water between 105 and 115 degrees, 4 cups of all-purpose flour plus a cup reserved for a total of 5, 2 teaspoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So that's what I have in the bowl here. And we're going to go ahead and get this on a 2. That's 1 and that's 2. For those of you who are using a stand mixer, my stand mixer's recommendations are that you don't make bread above a 2. You want to read your instructions and see what yours says just to be sure, but that I believe is pretty standard. So we're going to go ahead and get this started mixing, and then we're going to add flour to it as needed. We want this to come together in a dough ball. So I'm going to watch. You can see it's still really wet. So I mean, we're most likely going to need to add more flour to it, but we want to give it a chance to get going. So, yeah, I am new to the world of bread makings. I've done a couple videos on here about bread, and I have experimented behind the scenes and learning new things. The thing with bread is it's all about practice, practice, practice. The more you do it, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get at it. So that's really all there is to it. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit more flour in there. This will take anywhere between 4 and 5 cups. It could even take a little bit more. Bread is very dependent on the temperature of your kitchen, the humidity in the air. I mean, there's a million factors that play into it. So all you can do is let the bread tell you what it needs, or let the dough tell you what it needs. So we're just going to let this run for a bit. I'm going to continue to add flour to it until I get it to come together in a dough ball, and then I will bring you folks back when we get to that point. Okay folks, so I thought I'd bring you back. At this point, I've added the entire 5 cups of flour, and mine has still not come together in a ball. So I'm going to continue to add flour to it until it comes together into a ball of dough. So I will bring you back when we get to that point, and I'll let you know how much flour I ended up adding. Okay folks, so we're back, and we've gotten to the point. So when you touch the dough, see, it's still sticking to my hands a little, so it's close, but not quite there. Well, actually, it might be there. Yep, that's what you want. You want to be able to come away with clean fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this back up, I'm going to turn it back on, and I'm going to set my timer, and I'm going to let this knead for 5 minutes, and then I'll bring you folks back and show you what it's like at that point and what we'll do next. Okay folks, so it has been 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and turn this off and get our dough out of here. Pull this down off the hook. Throw this in the sink. Alright. And then, make sure you guys can see this in here. It might still be a little sticky, but I think we're okay. So I'm using my little dough scraper. Get this out of here. Okay, I'm going to set the bowl aside, and then, as long as you guys can see this here, yeah, so we might still be a little on the sticky side, but that's okay. We're going to be alright. See, it doesn't stick to my fingers, so it might just be this counter surface. You could use a little flour, you could use a little oil if you want to make it not stick, which maybe I will. I haven't kneaded on this surface before, so that could be part of it. Okay, just give ourselves a little grace here. Okay, now we're better. So, want to push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. So you just want to see how it's starting to smooth out. So what we're going to do is actually get this formed into a ball. See, now we got a nice smooth dough ball there. So what we're going to do is put a little splash of olive oil into our mixing bowl. Not too much since we already put oil on the board, but just so you can see inside of there. Then we'll go ahead and take the dough ball, put it in there, flip it over, just so it's all coated so it doesn't dry out. And we're set to go. So I'm going to cover this with a, just so you guys can see here, with a warm damp tea towel here. Let me grab that. I just run it under good hot water, wring it out. This is another trick that I learned from my friend Heather. Just a nice clean tea towel. And well, mine don't look clean because they're all stained, but trust me, it's clean. And then I'm going to pop this into my oven. I just have the light on in there, and I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes. and then I will bring you folks back and show you where we're at that point. Okay folks, welcome back. So it's been 30 minutes. You can see the dough has doubled in size. I'm actually gonna try and show you guys what I'm doing here. So all we're gonna do is take our hands and just deflate this dough. Okay. Then we're gonna go ahead and get it out onto the board here. And we're just gonna spread this out. And we're gonna try and get it into somewhat of a rectangle shape, or as close to it as we can get. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. When Heather made this recipe, she got 3 baguettes out of it. My baguette pan has only 2 slots in it. So let me show you this here. So this is what the baguette pan looks like. It's got holes in it, and it's like little troughs, so it helps it keep its shape. Okay, so mine only has 2. So I have the choice that I could make 2 thicker, bigger baguettes, or I can do 2 baguettes and do something else with the other piece, which is what I think I'm going to do. But for the purposes of our demonstration today, I'm going to show you the baguettes. And then maybe once I figure out what I'm going to do with the other part of it, then I will bring you guys back and show you what I do with that. Okay, so I got 3 pieces here, and my dough is longer. Let me see if I can back you guys up here. Let's see here. Okay, so my dough is longer this way and shorter this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take these 2 pieces, I'm going to roll them like that, and then this third piece I will deal with separately. So I'm going to angle you guys back up here for a minute. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to take it like this, and we're going to pinch the seams. Kind of tuck in our ends a little, and then we will roll it to try and get that seam to seal. And make sure, go back over it if we need to. A little bit more pinching if necessary. Give it one more. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my pan over here. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention I have my oven preheating to 425. Okay, now this is where it can get a little tricky. So as you can see, it was definitely longer than my pan. So we're going to kind of size it to the pan. Make sure everything is in here. Those ends tucked in. Get it shaped so it's like a little baguette. And voila. So we got the seam side down, which helps keep everything together so it won't explode on us. So we got one in. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing with the other one. So we'll bring this around. Pinch, 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 pinch. And this is important because you don't want it to explode on you. I mean, it'll still be good bread, it just won't be as pretty. So, this, make sure, good seal, give it another little pinch. Alright, now we'll get our pan back over here. And I'm going to start with this end because that end is a little thicker. And that way, as we even this out, we should get roughly the same size, which it looks good. Okay, now I have a razor which is called a lame or a lame, you know, depending on how people pronounce it. So that's what it looks like. Mine's on a stainless steel, so I can put a link down below to this if it's something you would like to take a look at. And then Heather recommends 5 cuts. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure our cuts are good. Okay. This one needs a little more. Okay. Now I am going to grab an egg. Sorry. And give these a little egg wash before they go in the oven. My oven is almost preheated. So all I'm doing now is just cracking an egg, adding a couple drops of water to it, and beat this with a fork. This is just a standard egg wash, and this is just really to give it a nice color, a nice crust. If you are anti-egg, which I know some people are, you could use like a sugar water in its place. Make sure you guys can see this here. So now we're just gonna give this a good coat, make sure we get it all covered here. Like I said in the beginning, it's the first time for me. I haven't done this before. So, you know, we'll see what the results are. We're learning together. Like I said, if you want like a true instructional video, you definitely want to go check out Heather's video and check out her channel. She's got tons of great bread making videos on there, and she is, although she says she's just a mom baking, she really does know her stuff when it comes to baking bread, because her bread comes out beautifully. Alright, now at this point you have the option to top this with whatever you want. You could do sea salt, you could do everything bagel seasoning, you could do garlic, crushed garlic. I mean, there's a million things you could put on here. I'm going to leave mine plain because I want to be able to use them sweet or savory. So I'm going to go ahead and leave mine plain, and then I'll be able to go whatever direction I want with it. So I'm going to get these in the oven at 425 for 10 minutes, and then I'll turn my tray around and then put it back in for another 15 minutes, and I will bring you folks back so you can see what the final result is. Okay folks, we're back, and these are fresh out of the oven, and if you listen, can you hear that? hollow sounding. This is what I ended up doing with my extra one. I rolled it the opposite direction, the short side, and rolled it up and made like a little mini loaf. You can see I had some breakout here, which, you know, being my first time, I'm okay with that. Practice makes perfect. So I think this was a fairly successful first attempt. It definitely sounds good. It smells good. I'm going to let these cool probably for a good couple hours, and then we'll probably have it with dinner tonight. But I hope you folks enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's good to be back after a long break, and hopefully I'll be coming back to see you folks again soon. Yeah, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, come back and see us soon. And as always, I hope you have a great day.